It was a summit many feared will end with a significant reduction in French troops. But President Emmanuel Macron announced that France will keep its troops in the Sahel for now. The announcement was greeted with relief. He says France's continued presence, however, will depend on how committed countries are in the region to taking back control of their territories.
Nearly 8 years after it sent its troops to confront Al-Qaeda in northern Mali, France is looking for a way out. Its operations in the Sahel have cost billions of dollars, and 55 of its soldiers have been killed. There are increasing signs that the violence is getting worse and spreading to West Africa's coastal areas.
It's now up to the so-called G5 group of Sahel countries to step up their military commitment to guarantee the continued participation of the French.
France's National Assembly passed a controversial bill on Tuesday aimed at curbing the rise of Islamism. The so-called anti-separatism bill strengthens the state's oversight of mosques, schools and sports clubs. It also includes tough new measures against online apologists for acts of violence and cracks down on practices like forced marriage and virginity testing. The bill was brought forward by President Emmanuel Macron, who said it will strengthen the country's secular principles. His party said the need for such a law was highlighted by the killing of a schoolteacher in Paris last October. Samuel Paty was beheaded by a teenage Islamist after he showed cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in a class on free speech. Less than a fortnight later, a church warden and 2 worshippers were killed in a basilica in Nice by a Tunisian Islamist.
More we can cross now to Bangkok to speak with Philip Sherwell, Asia correspondent for the Sunday Times. Hello, Philip. The military doubling down on their claims of election fraud with additional charges now on Aung San Suu Kyi. Tell us more about that.
Yes, well, Aung San Suu Kyi was detained in those pre-dawn raids when the military staged the coup more than 2 weeks ago now. Under the pretext, they've always claimed that it was electoral fraud when the NLD, her party, won a landslide victory in November. Now, she was initially charged with illicitly holding possession of walkie-talkies. This was very much felt to be a holding charge. She's now got a second series of charges, which are to do with allegations of breaking the National Disaster Act. That probably relates to the fact that she was campaigning in November during a pandemic. But all this is building up to the military possibly bringing much more serious charges.
Barcelona streets were on fire Tuesday night as thousands of protesters demanded the release of Spanish rapper Pablo Hasél. Earlier in the day, dozens of police stormed Lleida University in northeastern Spain to arrest Hasél. He had been hiding since last Friday when he was supposed to start a 9-month jail term. Hasél is considered a radical leftist and was convicted in 2018 of glorifying terrorism and insulting the monarchy. In lyrics and tweets, he's referenced the Basque separatist group ETA, compared the country's judges to Nazis, and called former king Juan Carlos a mafia boss. His 2018 sentencing caused uproar in Spain, which led the government to announce it would roll back free speech laws.
I'm a hostage, and this villa has been converted into a jail. All the windows are barred shut. I can't open any. I don't know when I'll be released and what the conditions will be like when I'm released. Every day I am worried about my safety and my life. Don't really know if I'm going to survive the situation. The police threatened me that I'll be imprisoned my whole life and I'll never see the sun again. So I'm not allowed to drive. I'm not allowed to travel or leave Dubai at all. I can't. I haven't left the country since 2000.
20 land border posts were reopened yesterday. Government is confident that sufficient safety measures are now in place, but there are fears that congestion at the Beitbridge border post could lead to a humanitarian crisis.
Same old. We were here in December and truck drivers were queuing for days. It's still the case, really. We have seen some truck drivers who have told us that they've been stuck for days. But before I proceed, let me ask my colleague Ndabambi to show you what is happening. We are at the border between South Africa and Zimbabwe. You should be seeing a ladder there, and there are some people who are climbing down that ladder. They are crossing into South Africa from the Zimbabwean side. Those are called the border jumpers. The Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Njabulo Nzuza, was here yesterday. Well, he got a first-hand experience of how things work here. He saw it for himself. As you are seeing now, people are jumping using that ladder, trying to get into South Africa.
A Black Hawk helicopter damaged in an exercise on Sydney Harbour has been forced to make an emergency landing in Watson's Bay. Andrew Denny is there. Andrew is still on the ground. What more can you tell us?
Well, these certainly were dramatic scenes here at Watson's Bay this afternoon when this Black Hawk helicopter had to make an emergency landing without warning. We are told by witnesses that it came in hot, setting down here in the park after clipping a boat during a military training exercise on Sydney Harbour. We are told that this Black Horse was involved in that training and it was dropping personnel onto the deck of that charter vessel when the two got too close. You can see that there is damage to a number of the rotors on this aircraft, and engineers have been looking at that all afternoon. Luckily, this pilot was able to set down here without further incident.
Japan kicked off its COVID-19 inoculation drive on Wednesday, the last of the group of 7 nations to begin a major vaccine drive. First in line to roll up their sleeves were Tokyo medical workers, including 37-year-old nurse Junko Hasegawa.
I was a bit nervous as I work in a place which has a higher risk of infection. By getting vaccinated, I think I can work with a little more reassurance.
But Japan faces a big hurdle, a shortage of syringes, meaning millions of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines could go to waste. The government made urgent requests to manufacturers, but they're struggling to ramp up production.